It's a question mark in space.
In space!
Greetings. I come in peace. I don't know what this means, but peace? I come in peace.
The universe is indifferent.
I think that's what you're supposed to say to the aliens in whatever language you choose. Why am I already talking about aliens? I haven't even got to the point yet.
Shut up and get to the point!
Welcome to this week's episode of Behind the Streams, where I take you on a little deep dive into this week's post, which was, "You are the golden record."
How dare you point at me?
It's all going to become so clear in a second. Just you wait. Take a look at this. What the hell is that? Let me read it to you in the voice, which comes from my own grooves on my own record, because I am, as I have just said. Well, I said you are the golden record, but I am also. If you were saying that back to me, I am the golden record. So clear. Just you wait. The photo that I just showed you shows a tightly bound pair of young stars known as Herbig Harrow 4647, surrounded by a disk of gas and dust, and dotted by distant galaxies and stars in the background. Big deal. Big whoop. Space things. Who cares about space things? I hear. The image I just showed you was paparazzi'd by the James Webb telescope. While the image itself is glorious, oh, the majesty of space and this universe, the bit that caught everybody out is that toward the bottom of the image. Embiggen. It's a question mark in space.
Inconceivable!
I know what your first thought is. Riddler! One of my least favourite characters in the Batman I grew up with, which was the Adam West Batman. I loved the season Eartha Kitt played Catwoman. Oh. That was probably my favourite. But the Riddler,
It'll be a cold day in August when we're scared of you, Riddler.
If you're unfamiliar, he's like this character, sometimes in a green leotard with like a question mark on it. And he would do these capers and these crimes, and his little mechanism for cuteness was he would leave riddles that Batman and Robin would have to solve, little clues to where he was going to conduct his next caper. So, in space?
Space, it says, is big, really big.
I mean, unless he's going to Shanghai a star or heist a Horsehead Nebula, I don't think space is probably the logical place for a crime. So therefore, I think we can probably discount that it's a sign from the Riddler of his next caper. So, what do scientists say? I really like to be a bit more freeform and off the cuff with these. Well, I can tell you there's no way I'm going to remember exactly what they said. So I've printed out the little thing that I'm going to read about what that picture is. The punctuation-shaped object, I don't know why they just don't say question mark, appears to be two or more galaxies merging. The intense process through which galaxies collide, the Milky Way, guys, is a product of one such merger. I love a good Milky Way, which is different in Australia than it is in America, and I can't remember which one's which. A Mars is a Milky Way in America. I can't remember. One's the Three Musketeers.
Kill those musketeers!
That is a tangent. Get back to the galaxy that you're in today. It looks like a group or a chance alignment of two or three galaxies. The upper part of the question mark looks like a distorted spiral galaxy, maybe merging with a second galaxy. So the reason it looks like a question mark, well, that is all angles and shadows and how human beings perceive things and points of view. Kind of like, and this is me just assuming here, kind of like the face on Mars, right? I mean, that thing's a mess if you look at it at certain times of the day, but wait till the light hits it right and the shadows go the right way, and what you got? Creepazoid face on Mars. Same with this question mark. Riddler, trick of the eye, doesn't really matter because the question mark in space thing all broke down to this one thing for me. Even the universe has questions. Ooh. That's sort of how I wrapped up this week's post, so I'm starting with the end of the post first, I guess. And if you haven't read it, you should read it. Because, oh my God, you are the golden record.
It's rude to point.
You want to play that, right? But it's only part of what triggered this week's post. The second thing, which, I've been thinking about for a while, actually. So I was reading. Yes, reading. It is fundamental, don't you know?
It's in a book.
This book, called Art is Life by Jerry Saltz. Jerry Saltz being the well-known art critic who's won the Pulitzer Prize, don't you know? Tangent. As you well know, I became a citizen recently, and while I said I did that so that I could vote, I also jokingly told people that I did it so I could win a Pulitzer Prize, because you have to be an American citizen to win the Pulitzer for the books and fiction. I'm only half joking. This is on record. Oh, God. Last time I put something on record, I ended up, I don't know if I told you this, I rode across America on a bicycle. That's how shit like that happens. That was a true tangent. Early on in the book, there's this essay from 2005 about Steve McQueen, the artist, not the smouldering cool guy who jumps motorcycles out of POW camps. Anyway, it was about a Steve McQueen show where one of the pieces was a video that projected the 116 images that were sent with the Voyager space mission to represent humans as a species to aliens out there. Well, anything really. Asteroids, planets, gases, whatever the hell's out there. Who knows? And that led me down this, what do you call it, a black hole? Because we're talking about space? Black hole sun. A wormhole? I mean, it sucked me in, but I was able to get out. I don't know what kind of hole that is. Let's not talk about holes. Look at this. That, my friends, is the golden record. On one side there is the cover that has all the little infographics on it, and the other side is the actual record. Pretty cool, right? And it was mounted to the side of Voyager 1 and later Voyager 2, which I think was a year behind it. And both craft were sent out on their little mission to reach the farthest edges of the galaxy. Like a normal record, it contains grooves with information in them. But unlike a record, it's not made of wax. It's made of like a gold-plated copper, and it's designed to be played at 16 2/3 RPM. This is where it's mounted on the Voyager. It's got, as the kids say, the riz. Actually, if I'm saying that, then the kids are probably not saying that anymore.
How do you do, fellow kids?
So old. I know what you're going to ask. Where's the golden record now? Well, there's this website that shows you exactly how many miles away the Voyager is. Both Voyagers 1 and 2. It's interstellar, baby. Voyager 1 is currently the farthest man-made thing away from Earth. It should reach the edge of the Oort cloud in a mere 300 years. I don't know what that is, but I like saying the word Oort. Oort. Anyway, the site does a real-time counter. It's like the debt clock, but more cheerful. Right now, as I reach this spot in editing this video, this is how many miles away Voyager 1 is. So what's on the record? Let's read out the contents. 115 images, a variety of natural sounds, such as those made by surf, wind and thunder, birds, whales and other animals. To this they added musical selections from different cultures and eras, and spoken greetings from Earth people in 55 languages, and printed messages from President Carter and UN Secretary General Waldheim. Each record is encased in a protective aluminum aluminum. I thought for a second they went the Queen's English way there. Aluminum jacket, along with a cartridge and a needle. A stylus. Instructions in symbolic language explain the origin of the spacecraft and indicate how the record is to be played. The 115 images are encoded in analog form. The thing that boggles my mind about this golden record. How do you choose what to put on the record? Like, what is going to represent the human race? Because you want to represent yourself in a good light, I'm guessing. For example, the musical stuff they chose, it's like Beethoven and Mozart and Louis Armstrong and Chuck Berry doing Johnny Be Good. Isn't that just skewed by the tastes of the selection committee and Carl Sagan?
The pale blue dot.
Like, how is that a true representation of an entire planet? How do they narrow it down to, I think it was like 54 minutes of music or something? What if the committee had been into, I don't know, like Swedish death metal or... I don't know. Like, how? Like, you wouldn't be able to choose music based on lyrics because aliens don't speak any of our languages. But if they did, that would be so wild to think that like a language that developed here on Earth developed somewhere else. the meaning of lyrics is only projected onto those lyrics by the person that's listening to them. It's a human point of view. Like love is only love to humans. Someone else listening to those lyrics, there's no meaning to them at all. There's no emotion behind. Let it go. Let it go. As you can see, it blew my tiny mind. Side note, it's been 40 years since they compiled that Alien playlist. Is there one song that you can think of in the past 40 years that you, if you could, would add to that record? Never gonna give. Anyway, let's talk photos. Think about it. This is your one chance to say, this is who we are as a species. Take a gander and maybe you should drop by. Check us out. So there's like some graphical images of like maths, the DNA strand. There's silhouettes of human figures, like a man and a woman with like a baby inside the woman. There's like some scale silhouettes of like, this is how big a fetus is. This is how much a 4-year-old weighs, a 12-year-old weight, all silhouetted. Stuff like that. Then there's actual photographs, like there's a picture of Earth. I think there's the moon. Some stuff from the solar system. Someone teaching a child to write. A woman breastfeeding. Sprinters at the Olympics. The woman was not breastfeeding the sprinters. An aeroplane taking off. A supermarket. Traffic. A violin with some sheet music. A man from Guatemala with a cool hat. And then my favourite image of all, which is actually the image I used in the header of this week's post, because I think it'd be a cool album cover, was this photo of 3 people like eating different things. There's just something so magical about that photo. Like he's eating a grilled cheese sandwich, I think, and there's one guy pouring liquid into his mouth. It's so back in Alien. I love it. But anyway, this collection of images, it's sort of like Instagram in that you're choosing a swathe of images that represent what you think are the essential things, but may not necessarily be the state of affairs. Like, what would you send today? Would it be more like an SOS today? Darling, can't you hear me? Like, oh my God, we have f***ed up this planet. We need help. Whatever happened to our love? And you send photos of like just pollution and the great ocean garbage patch and forests burning and wars. And I don't know if that would attract the right class of alien. They would maybe view a planet on the die as an opportunity. Are aliens opportunistic? Or is that just me projecting a human characteristic on the unknown? Happens. But even the outside of the record is cool. So as you can see, it's got all these like little infographics on it. The one up here, this is just a basic image of the record itself and shows the placing of the stylus on it. This is the side view of that very same thing, showing putting the stylus on the record. So it's very instructional on how to use it. If the question mark in space wrapped up this week's post, I don't know why I'm leaning into that, then this, you probably can't see, but there's an inscription in the what would be the dead wax of an actual record, the run-out area, that says, "To the makers of music, all worlds, all times," which is the quote that I started this week's post with. When the first test pressing came back of it, and it had that on it, and it wasn't in the original specs, they were going to remove it. But Carl Sagan talked them into keeping it. I think that makes it more romantic. It's so positive. Let's wrap this up early this week, guys. If I weren't sitting on the floor right now, I would pull my philosopher's soapbox from the side here, which is just a travel case for records. I would stand atop it and I would wax lyrical. Wax, because it's record themed, even though the golden record on how each of us, me, them, they, are the golden record, metaphorically. You are the golden record. All your contents, everything you produce, how you act in the world, what you sound like, your voice, your actions, that is how you're presenting yourself to the universe, to the aliens in this world. So you better choose your contents carefully. That's all I'm saying. You better choose the right stuff
No Bucks, no Buck Rogers.
to put out there to be an accurate representation of the authentic you. You are the golden record waiting to be played. Will people be able to crack your code, play your message? Are you making it too difficult to be understood? You just need to find the alien with the phonograph that can play you at the right speed. But as much as you are putting things out into the universe, into the world, waiting for people to receive your message, play your message, understand your message, there's also an alien within you. This is where it gets real deep. So you also need to drop the needle, I don't know why there'd be only one, that would be a typo. Drop the needle on your own record to figure out what you sound like and what you should put out in the world. You need to explore the space, the universe within.
Explore the space.
You are the golden record. May you always be long playing. No skips. Bye.